Hello everyone, good evening. Today we are joined by Mr. Prem Kumar. Today we are going to talk on cybersecurity privacy operations. Hello Prem Kumar.
Hi Vijay, thank you for inviting me. We'll talk about cybersecurity today. Uh, what is cybersecurity and what is privacy operations is the topic that we are going to discuss. What is privacy? Privacy refers to the concerns that are arise from the information data subjects and from various sources. This includes the devices that we use in our day-to-day life, whether it can be laptop, it can be any other connected devices, your laptop, tabs, your phone, and we generate a lot of data, and that data is seamlessly available over the internet, and we don't have a control on how the data is getting processed. So what is data privacy means? It depends on data, how data is collected, stored, combined, used, processed, and shared, disclosed across multiple platforms. Now, as you know, we are all having our Gmail accounts or any other accounts, which again goes into a single sign-on mode, where we see a lot of people having their data shared across multiple platforms. Like once you log in, the same username is there for uh, Facebook, your Instagram, then you have it for your mail, then you have it for your LinkedIn profiles. There are multiple ways this data is getting streamlined and multiple platforms. How is that we'll have to look at is what is data privacy. Now, what is privacy operations? Refers to the activities of processing of data in the organization designed to ensure protection of compliance of personal data in accordance with government and industry privacy regulations and policies. Now, talking about this, the primary goal is to have these operations is to collect, process, manage, safeguard information of individuals and organization to prevent unauthorized access or use and disclosure. Now, taking a cue on this, we have multiple platforms like you have your GDPR, you have your DPDP from the Indian government formulated in August 2023. Similarly, you have your HIPAA, which is again health related data, how it has been processed and how it has been. So every or a country has brought in their own laws, and every country has their ways of setting their privacy data. Now, with GDPR, if you look at, we cannot process data and transfer data from the European region. That's where the compliance is kicking off, and how GDPR has to be implemented is a key thing. Similarly, our data like DPDP is coming into picture, where how our data is being collected, processed again, and how it is being stored. That is what we are talking about data privacy. Now, what is personal data? Now, coming back to personal data, we said any identifier, okay, of uh, which determines a natural person identifier from a particular data set. One must consider all the means of reasonably likely to be used either by data collector or any other person identified to the said person. Some of the examples are your name, your account number, identification number. In India, we don't have a social security number, but we have our Aadhaar cards here. Then we have uh, driver's license, your passport number. There's a typo there. Driver's license is mentioned twice. So then predominantly again now people are getting location based alerts, right? If you have selected the location based alerts, then you'll find that you will get data or your preferences, nearby stores, whatever you clicked, whatever you have browsed, they'll give you links based on the location that you are there. Nearby there is a restaurant. If you had searched for food items, then you'll get uh, messages or data on Google where you find that your location based alerts are given, location based ads are made. So those are things that are called as personal data. Unique identifier number, which is again your Aadhaar card or your PAN card. Now, email address also comes under the specific whether it can be openly available or not. So that is what is personal data. Next, what are the data laws? So data laws are rules and regulations and other enactments that apply to privacy, security, and personal. So anything related to rules and regulations that privacy, security of our personal has to be looked at are called data laws. Now coming, what are the principles of data protection? So you will have to have a clarity in lawfulness, whether it is collected lawfully, whether it is collected fairly, okay, and it is transparent. Now, also while collecting bank in for loans in specific or SIM cards, they will ask you 100 of documents, which is not required. So, what is the purpose of the limitation is what we have to look at, and what data is collected and how long is that data. You should have a minimal data is what the principle says, and if there is a mismatch, then there can be a question raised saying that there's a mismatch, and for that accuracy you will have to give consent. Based on that, the correction will happen and various forums. What is the storage limitation? When we talk about storage limitation, what time does it take to keep this data? How long is the data? If you really look at it, is the limitation how long this data is required. Once it is processed, what should it be done and how it is to be kept? That is what is when you say today I have given my documents for a SIM card, and once the SIM card is given, what happens to the documents that you have given? Because it's all physical copies, they'll have to give you a consent saying that this data is protected, this data is being consumed, you cannot reuse it for other purposes. So storage limitation talks about how much time that document will be kept, where it will be kept, what is the process, whether it is backed up, whether it is archived, or when is it going to get deleted. So keeping that, you'll have to also look at integrity and confidentiality. It is not left over anywhere. If the person collecting has to take that ownership of destroying also, that consent is what we are, the laws are dictating. Accountability. Again, when you say accountability, the person who's collecting and the consent that you have given are more important. And because of that, the person has to give you a confirmation that it was processed and the data is getting deleted. That's what the law is looking for. Moving ahead, what are the privacy approaches that we have? So there are two types of approaches. One is by design and one is by default. While you design a product or an application or any platform that you want to build, ensure that privacy is included by design itself, and that makes important for audits and stuff where you have the uh, documentation or an application by design security and privacy being considered. By default you will have to set standards. This is what it has to happen, these are the things that are to be mandate, and this is how, without that it will not get into any other platform while it is going to be on a test bed or anything. How it is getting tested first, that is by default. You will have to set for standards for by default what privacy will contain. Going ahead, what are the data laws that we have happened? We have discussed this briefly. We have European Union General Data Protection Regulation, which is GDPR. California Consumer Privacy Act. Again, there's a spelling mistake there. Twice California is left there. Then you have Brazil's General Data Protection Law, LGPD, which is not highlighted here, which is got in a different font. Again, there's a mistake there. Then you have Canada Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents and Acts. And Australia Privacy Act is one more. In India, we know DPDP, which is come up, which is started in August 2023. Now, why this is required? Why you need to have data protection? What does it need in India? So, as we discussed in the initial stage itself, we spoke about saying that there are millions of records and applications on a daily basis created on multiple profiles, multiple target advertising forecasting trends. So, this is required to protect your safeguarding of your privacy data, whether it is mobile number, name, Aadhaar card, which we discussed. The intersection are from different laws from different fields, creating ambiguity, and it is one of the primary reasons behind the breaches of large amount of stuff. If you really look at recently, there were breaches from many organizations, and some of the government organizations have also reported that there have been data breaches. How to look at it, how to protect it, and there are a lot of examples which you find data examples of non-existent and malfunctioning grievances and redressal mechanisms need to be quickly resecured and reviewed. So when you look at this is what DPDP is going to bring in as law for us, and with this you'll have a much stringent data where you cannot keep data or freely roaming around or freely available on the market. They have to be giving you a consent and then collecting data with minimal what minimality has to be looked at. Now, what are the key takeaways of private compliance and legal responsibilities, building and maintaining trust, mitigating risks like what we had on the data breaches? We have to look at how to mitigate us this one. Then, uh, consumer expectation, ethical practices, and governance and inventory, uh, employee training and awareness. For any organization to have a successful privacy operations, you need awareness to be made for the people in the organization. Then, if there is an incident, how the incident is getting recorded, how is it getting responded, how is getting tracked, and there should be transparency on that as well. And as the law matures, you will have to look at continuous improvement and adaptability, which keeps on adding with new threats coming up, new ways of getting data breaches happening. You have a lot of options that are coming up, and the data thing is getting clarified. Global operations and cross-border data transfers. Again, now that comes to payment sector, where you have banking and other pointers coming in. That industries have to be looked at, balancing innovation and privacy. That's what we'll have to look at. How while we innovate, how is privacy of the data being taken care is more important for us to look at, and uh, that's more about privacy operations. And you have some of the references of where you can get privacy certification done is OneTrust. These are the references. OneTrust.com is one place there you have certifications which are free for you to have, and IIAP has some resources there. You can have privacy operations certification done, which is at education at secureIT.ai, which helps you to look at more on certification of privacy operations, which will be very helpful for people who are looking at privacy operations as a career or cybersecurity as a career. Okay. Uh, yeah, and thank you. This is my LinkedIn profile. You can reach me and you can follow us and reach us on these uh, links over here. Vijay, over to you.
Thank you, Prem Kumar. It was a great insight session for the audience, and I have learned a lot. Audience would request you to reach out us if you have any questions regarding this privacy operations. Thank you, Prem. Thank you, everyone.